आज कैसे कर रहे हो भाई बहनों मैं हूं अनस ladies and gentlemen let's get started. Now what if I told you artificial intelligence has gone too far? Now remember a while back we were covering scary photos, if you will, like the last selfie to ever be taken. We were looking into artificial intelligence. Okay, I was looking up AI prompts to look at the end of the world, what Discord moderators look like on a trail cam, and we talked about artificial intelligence, data sets, and a whole lot of bias. Now of course since then, ladies and gentlemen, AI art has blown up into its own little industry on the internet, in influencer culture, whatever you want to call it. But you know something about AI? It's actually beaten humans. Now, I'm not here to be shocked, okay? Artificial intelligence has gotten so good that we are now, just this year, questioning if things are sentient. There was a Google engineer who thought that the Google AI went sentient, but it really seems like the chatbot became really, really good at fooling human beings. We've gotten to a point where artificial intelligence is able to produce some absolutely jaw-dropping pieces of art, okay? Glimpses into worlds we've never seen. Now, of course, for a lot of people, this is beautiful because, hey, if you need artwork done, well, you can just feed an AI some prompts and maybe, just maybe, you can get something close to what you want. Now, of course, why we're talking about this is an artificial intelligence actually has won an art prize all the way out in Colorado. And there's a few artists that are not too happy about it. Now, the actual image in question is this. Now, when I first saw this is actually called the Theatre d'Opera Spatiale, okay? Now, this was actually a person known as Jason who created this AI work through Midjourney. We looked at Midjourney not too long ago when we were looking at these like selfies, the last selfie ever taken. I used the Midjourney AI, a few prompts to generate those images. Now, of course, the way that an artificial intelligence works is there are tons of image data sets, tons of styles passed into it. And through a lot of smart, talented engineers and coders, they actually sat down and created an artificial intelligence, a machine cluster, if you will, that decided to take every prompt that you would feed it, like 4K, 8K, creepy, surreal, Mudahar laugh, all right, whatever you want, a Discord camera, trail footage, and it would take all those prompts and try to spit out the best possible image from terabytes of reference data, okay? That's how artificial intelligence works, okay? It's not something out of Hollywood, it's literally just a crap ton of data fed into one thing that it's actually using as references for all these prompts. Now, of course, this image was sent through, and there were some people that were just not too happy. For instance, this one post, TLDR, someone entered an art competition with an AI-generated art piece and won the first prize. Yeah, that's pretty fucking shitty. Now, of course, in this case, one of the posts was, "Hi everyone, after a 1-month hiatus, I have returned with an exciting announcement about my personal project I've made using Midjourney." Remember, Midjourney is the AI that lets you actually own your rights, I believe, if you have the corporate license. I have been exploring a special prompt that I will be publishing at a later date. I can't wait for the Patreons to come up with like exclusive AI prompts. I've created hundreds of images using it, and after many weeks of fine-tuning and curating my gens, I chose my top 3 and had them printed on canvas after upscaling with Gigapixel AI. I entered into the Colorado State Fair Fine Arts Competition Digital Arts category, and I won first prize. Here are the results. I set out to make a statement using Midjourney in a competitive manner, and wow! I could not have been more excited having won with my favorite piece. Now, I think it's a little shitty, obviously, when you enter your project into an art competition, where I guess the general expectation is to draw this piece of art requires each person to manually do it through their hand, whether it be through, like a digital tablet or like actually by hand. I don't think the actual like judges were expecting somebody to type up like a few sentences, some prompts, some keywords, and use an entire artificial intelligence to generate it. Now, I've seen a lot of people who have said, "But Muda, isn't artificial intelligence just like a toothbrush?" Yeah, I could see that. But at the same time, I think we can all agree the degree of difficulty and talent is far different, okay? A lot different, if you will. Now, artificial intelligence can be used for a lot of reasons. For instance, if you want to make 4chan AI green text, it's absolutely possible. There's some pretty like banger ones like "Be me, be a horse, be assassin, JF." Okay, we're out of here. We're done. Of course, even for like TikTok and YouTube and everything, especially in like the shorts category and the short form video stuff, there's people who have made entire careers. For instance, AI image reactions. And you can see right here that this person creates like AI image videos all the time. So they touch the NVIDIA canvas, making the best waterfall, AI art in general. For instance, if we look at the best waterfall over here, this guy probably deals with like the actual NVIDIA Gigon AI, creates pretty awesome images using artificial intelligence, right? Now, of course, we can all agree that the degree of difficulty between telling an AI to draw certain aspects is a lot different and a lot easier than actually using your hands, your actual talent to draw it yourself, right? For instance, in the Midjourney AI, it goes like, the next PlayStation. I really want to see what the next PlayStation looks like. Holy fuck, that is one of the ugliest designs I've ever actually seen. Jesus Christ. That's the PlayStation crack crystal, if you will, not the actual console. Of course, there's even other pieces of content where you can see, hey, asking an AI to tell the story of Cleopatra. I am excited. Let's hear this. Okay, so we got Cleopatra, all right? Cleopatra is powerful now. Okay, no, she's not powerful anymore. She's less powerful. Cleopatra's Sag. And, okay, now that's just from Assassin's Creed Origins. Okay, I see what's going on here. Although, in this case, one commenter, he's like, why must people come to argue? Because I guess they're arguing about whether this is talent or not. This is a new form of artistry. If it's not to your taste, then keep strolling. Appreciate the artist's hard works. Yeah, typing in those prompts is really tough and difficult, boys. Now, of course, AI art is different in every capacity. So, for instance, this is another artificial intelligence, Dream Studio, if you will. Now, Dream Studio is really interesting. So, I'll show you how this works. I've given this a bunch of prompts like distant galaxy in a cluster that's covered with red stars. A massive nebula surrounds it. 4K, 8K, space, realistic, galaxy, futuristic. Big planet in the middle that resembles Earth, okay? Actually, I'll just type in big planet in the middle, not resembles Earth, because that's not working. Now, the way that this AI works is I can give it a bunch of width, some height, and then the CFG scale is very interesting, because with the CFG scale, I can either tell the AI to not take any of those prompts to heart, or literally only design according to that prompt. Now, I can take away the seed, if you will, and taking away the seed effectively means that it just generates using a random seed every time. So I'm going to try to create the most random, unique version of this prompt. So if I dream it, all right, after a few seconds, I should be able to get something that resembles my prompts. And here it is. So everything is present except for the big goddamn planet in the middle. We didn't actually see it, but we do in fact have this big giant line. Now, if I take the entire CFG scale down and I hit dream, what'll actually happen is the AI will not take anything and just generate what it wants. So in this case, it's just generating what appears to be the interior deck of a ship. And if I tell it to dream again, it's going to come up with an entirely new random image because it's not taking any keyword in the heart. Now, it's interesting because artificial intelligence is being also used, like a lot of this technology, to outpaint. For instance, if you actually look at this clip, which is really interesting, somebody took this one image of this character that they made, and then using outpainting, basically telling the AI to fill in the edges, the AI is actually able to create the entire room around it, which is super interesting to see. It allows artists to put all their effort into what the most important part of their image is, and then use an artificial intelligence to help flesh out the rest of it. It would be interesting that a lot of game designers and engineers can use this technology to create random pieces of concept art that they can then implement onto their games. But of course, if we look at things like this, I feel like the best apt comparison to this is, no joke, speedrunning. Now, I've thought about this a lot, and for me, I look at things like speedrunning where there's an inherent skill applied to it. Look, I love games like Deus Ex and Metal Gear, but I would never attempt to speedrun these games, because speedrunning requires, an innate knowledge of the game that I, no matter how many times I play, do not have entirely. It requires you to absolutely have the technical skills to achieve a lot of these button presses, a lot of these abuses of glitches, if you will, or a lot of these special activities in the game in a very consistent manner. And then, of course, always it completely relies on just how good of a gamer you are. There's a clear skill in speedrunning. Now, of course, in the speedrunning category, there's also the tool-assisted speedrunning category too. Now, I'm not taking away the talent of people who create task runs. Obviously, it's a very taxing affair. But to understand with a task run, it is significantly easier to make a tool-assisted speedrun and achieve a lot of these speed-saving glitches in a video game because you can input and basically modify each input frame by frame. Now, does that make a tool-assisted speedrun somehow necessarily less enjoyable or less interesting? I disagree. As somebody that watches speedruns while I edit, I definitely have both categories open consistently from time to time. It's always interesting seeing it from the eyes of a talented gamer and from somebody who knows the innate innards of a video game to the point where they could literally figure out how to manipulate memory. There are people that have played enough Pokemon, enough of that title, that they know how to manipulate the game's memory and data structure just by glitches in the game or inputs in the game. It's interesting to see that being abused and to be utilized by people who know how to actually utilize it in a tool-assisted manner. So again, I look at it like this. Obviously, when it comes to AI art, do I think that it should be inputted in a competition where it's an expectation that you are actually using your talent to draw? I don't agree. I don't think this actually works. I don't think this person should have won this competition just by writing in prompts alone. It's cool that they made like 100 images doing it, but obviously there's a distinct lack of talent in comparison to somebody who has mastered their own art style, mastered their own like ability to do art in a way, to draw it by themselves. I think there's a big clear gap there, and I don't think there's anybody that's down to disagree with that. So while that debate has existed, it's interesting we make that distinction, because for a lot of people who are downplaying the achievements of artificial intelligence in the creative sector, I don't think that's fair either. Okay, there's a lot of people who have created these artificial intelligence bots that are able to make jaw-dropping imagery, and I think we should come to agree that that's pretty fucking cool that we live in a time and a day and age that that's even possible. Now, does the gatekeeping from the art community make sense? I can see the absolute anger, but to see this like great schism between like people who support AI art or they don't, completely don't understand, A, that there should be a fine distinction in the art category, really any category, right? But of course, as technology evolves, the ability to write, the ability to actually do things like music or generate music or even make videos can one day be replaced by full-on artificial intelligence. And that's kind of scary. I mean, if we're complaining about this, we should probably also look into the entire fields of artificial intelligence where they're literally digitally creating influencers on YouTube, TikTok, whatever, all through artificial intelligence. Now, do I think it's going to be a while before any of this stuff feels completely organic? Absolutely. But until then, one of the things that scares me the most is the lack of jobs that are going to be given to a lot of people who rely on art commissions. Now, one of my friends, Novica, makes absolutely amazing art. His art style is so unique. Imaru's art style is his own project, his own property, his own pride and joy. That his art, all right, he's getting commissioned by people to make art for their channels, right? To make art for their videos, their thumbnails, whatever. But if artificial intelligence ever takes his art and like actually learns from it and allows people to replicate it through just prompts, he could be out of a job. I really do feel that for a lot of people out there who rely on who rely on like commissions and art and just making art for people in our community might one day completely be overshadowed by $100 a year subscription to some AI service where they can just recreate art. And at that point, there's going to be a big, massive problem, right? There's going to be probably a big ethics debate of like, hey, if this AI can just take 1,000 pieces from these like YouTube artists or like artists in general and then just replicate any design, any prompt through its own system, should we even be okay with that? Who owns this piece of art? Where does the copyright lie? That's going to be an interesting debate. But I'm sure for a lot of people, I'm genuinely scared that they may lose their actual like earnings potential simply because they can be absolutely replaced by an artificial intelligence. Let me just tell you right now, if there are people who want to build like cool looking art for their thumbnail, they may also just be inclined to just go to an AI, feed a prompt, wait 10 seconds, and jam it into their video somehow. Gonna be interesting to see how things go forward. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, AI has in fact beaten humans. And you know what? It's an interesting world that we live in. And I can't wait to see how this shit evolves down the road. But that said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to read more AI green text. This is me, Mudahar. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it. If you dislike it, I am out.